Okay, 18.50. सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्मा तथाप्नोति निबोध मे समासेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the state of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. So now Krishna will talk about how to reach Brahma Bhuta, Brahman stage. And for those who are engaged in bhakti, also we have to reach this Brahma Bhuta stage, because next few verses Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim lavate param. Only after we achieve Brahma Bhuta stage can we actually achieve real devotion. Is now going to explain how one can reach that stage. But Lord describes for Arjuna how one can achieve the highest perfectional state simply by being engaged in his occupational duty, performing the duty for the Supreme Person of Godhead. One attains the supreme stage of Brahman simply by renouncing the result of his work for the satisfaction of the Lord. This is the solution. Prabhupada gave the solution. You have to just renounce the result of work. That is the process of self-realization. The actual perfection of knowledge is in attaining pure Krishna consciousness. The process of self-realization. So this Brahma Bhuta stage means self-realized. Then bhakti will start. Okay. Buddhya vishuddhaya yukto धृत्यात्मानं नियम्य च शब्दादीन् विषयान् त्यक्त्वा रागद्वेषौ यद्युदस्य च विविक्तसेवि लघ्वाशी यथा वाक् कायमानसः ध्यानयोगपरो नित्यं वैराग्यं समुपाश्रितः अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्ममः शान्तो ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with the determination. Being purified by intelligence. So we should use intelligence to purify ourselves, and we should control the mind with determination. We might fail, but we should again try, depending on Krishna. So they should keep going on, controlling mind. Like when we are chanting, mind goes here and there, pull it back, again engage in hearing with determination. With determination, why? Because we already discussed that determination in the mode of goodness. Because we feel tired. We're like, oh, how much can I keep pulling this mind back? But we have to keep doing. That's how we are going to control the mind. So intelligence and mind control. Giving up objects of sense gratification. This we understand. Being free from attachment and hatred. See, this is very important and difficult. We should not have any kind of aversion, like or dislike towards material world or anything about this material world. We should be equipoised. But this is very difficult. This is crux of Brahma Bhuta. When we realize that I am not belonging, I don't belong to this material world. I am Atma. I am not this material body, and this whole material world is full of material elements and things related to material body. Now, why am I getting affected by this? And one actually becomes equipoised, not inert or not like rock. Equipoised means that he is not negatively, excessively negatively or positively affected. He just deals with everything in connection with Krishna, that's all. And then one who lives in a secluded place, secluded doesn't mean going to a forest, it just means disconnecting from the world around us. Then who eats little, not too much. This is something devotees, even they come to bhakti after many years also, they are very fond of eating a lot of, which is okay, as in it is better than eating outside, but gradually we should also reduce our eating. Who controls his body, mind and power of speech, is always in trance. Always in trance meaning is not on the bodily platform. He's detached, free from false ego, because he knows that he is not the body, he is spirit soul. So he's free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things. So he's just completely disconnected from material world. Free from false proprietorship also. Doesn't think that he wants anything at all here, because Ishavasyam Idam Sarvam, everything belongs to Krishna. And he is peaceful, because he's not concerned with anything about this material world. He's peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. So this is the state we have to reach. We even come to self-realization. Now, only after we come to self-realization, bhakti will start. Real bhakti, pure bhakti. So these things itself, this list itself looks so daunting, isn't it? So that is why we have to do Tivra Bhakti. If you don't do Tivra Bhakti, then how will we get to these states? Very important. Purport. When one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in the mode of goodness. So beautiful. Mode of goodness, mode of intelligence means mode of goodness. And when we are in mode of goodness, it is much easier to come to the stage of the the other qualities here. So this is very key, actually. Yeah, we should try to practice living in mode of goodness. Thus, one becomes a controller of the mind and is always in trance. He is not attached to the objects of sense gratification, free from attachment, hatred in his activities. Such a detached person naturally prefers to live in a secluded place. He does not eat more. So Prabhupada is just saying that all these other qualities will automatically follow if one comes to the mode of goodness, which is amazing, right? Because he has no bodily concept, he is not proud, he is satisfied with everything that is offered to him by the grace of the Lord, never angry in the absence of sense gratification, nor does he endeavor to achieve sense objects, completely free from false ego, becomes non-attached to material things. So everything, this stage is called Brahmabhuta. He is free from material conception. He becomes peaceful and cannot be agitated. अपूर्यमानम् अचलप्रतिष्ठं समुद्रमाप प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामयं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी. Person who is not disturbed by incessant flow of desires can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Sometimes people say, "I have desires, you just satisfy, then you keep satisfying, then you will get bored of those desires, then you'll get over it." No, Bhagavad Gita is saying no, don't satisfy your desires. So key here is that we have to come to mode of goodness, and all these qualities have to manifest in our. When we come to Brahmabhuta, then only we are really starting serious devotional work. So we should evaluate ourselves where we stand here, and not think that, okay, this looks too difficult, okay, let me just give up. No. Looks too difficult, but we should all do it together. We should come to this stage, work and come to this stage. Actually, the key for this is coming to mode of goodness also is just simply to engage more and more in bhakti. The more time we give for bhakti, the more easily we'll come to this state. As in relatively. Easily means relatively more easier. Okay. Anybody has any questions on this? Okay. ब्रह्मभूत प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न कांक्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम. Most critical. One who is transcendentally situated, who is in this Brahmabhuta stage, at once realizes that Supreme Brahman. Once realizes Supreme Brahman means that he knows that he is Brahman, then there is Parabrahman. And he becomes fully joyful, because now he is not the body, he is Brahman, he is equal in quality with Parabrahman. And he's fully joyful, because all this lamentation is concerned, because it's all related to this material world, which has nothing to do with him, no relationship with him. He never laments or desires to have anything. He's equally poised toward every living being. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So we have to reach this stage. I've talked about this multiple times. This Brahmabhuta stage has to be reached. Without this, pure devotional service cannot be got. So we have to do sadhana such that we will first come to this Brahmabhuta stage. And it automatically happens. It's not like you have to do something differently. To the impersonalist, achieving Brahmabhuta is the last word. For them, Brahmabhuta means becoming one with Absolute. But for personalists, one has to go still further to become engaged in pure devotional service. So for Gnani, Brahmabhuta is the end of their road. But for us, that is the beginning of the road, really. This means that one who is engaged in pure devotional service is already in the state of liberation. Without being one with the Supreme, one cannot render service unto him. Here, one means qualitative oneness. In the absolute conception, there is no difference between served and the servitor. The distinction is there in a higher spiritual sense. What does this mean? There's no difference qualitatively, but higher spiritual sense there is, because we are servants. He is the master. There's a difference in rasa, difference in relationship. In material concept of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is misery. But in the absolute word, when one is engaged in pure devotional service, there is no misery. The devotee has nothing for which to lament or desire. Since God is full, a living entity who is engaged in God's service becomes also full in himself. It's just like a river cleansed of all dirty water. Because a pure devotee has no thought other than Krishna, he is naturally always joyful. See, we should understand why we are not joyful, because we are not always thinking about Krishna. When we always think about Krishna, we automatically become joyful. So what is our goal? Our goal should be that we should stop thinking about anything apart from Krishna, other than. He does not, that is why that saying is there, no? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So if we do that, then we will be always joyful. He does not lament for any material loss or aspire for gain, because he is full in the service of the Lord. Full means fully engaged, fully satisfied. No time for all this material loss, gain, evaluation, and all that. He has no desire for material enjoyment, because he knows that every living entity is a fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, and therefore eternally a servant. He does not see in the material world someone as higher and someone as lower, because equal. Because these higher and lower are ephemeral, temporary, and a devotee has nothing to do with ephemeral appearances or disappearance. For him, everything is same. This is Brahmabhuta, and this stage is attained very easily by the pure devotee. So Prabhupada is saying, when one's intention is pure, that means that he's not wanting to enjoy anything independent of Krishna or seek any kind of material benefits from bhakti, and also not mentally speculating, then he's a pure devotee. He will very easily, by the process of pure devotional service, achieve Brahmabhuta. In that stage, the idea of becoming one with the Supreme and annihilating is hellish. The idea of attaining the heavenly kingdom becomes phantasmagoria. Phantasmagoria is like some kind of a dream, and not required. The senses are like serpents whose poison teeth are broken. So senses also become like, will not be tormented by the senses as we are today. As there's no fear of a serpent with broken teeth, there's no fear of the senses when they're automatically controlled. This world is miserable for the material infected person, but for a devotee, entire world is as good as Vaikuntha. That is why devotees don't care whether they are in this material world, whether they are in Varga, Naraka, where they are. Because for them, wherever they are, it is Vaikuntha. The highest personality in this material universe is no more significant than an ant for a devotee. Highest person is Brahma. It's not that we disrespect Brahma, but it's all the same, because it's just another body in this material world. Such a stage can be achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who preached pure devotional service. That is why it's very, very important for us to very faithfully chant Panchatattva mantra while we are chanting Hare Krishna. It is only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we can achieve Krishna Prema by chanting. And when we achieve Krishna Prema, then there's no question of then we anyway crossed Brahmabhuta, etc. Okay, but these qualities have to be seen in us. Never lament, desire, equally poised, fully joyful. This is entry gate for Shuddha Bhakti. So we can understand by these verses, we can understand how far we are in the process of. So again, answer is Tivra Bhakti, Tivra Sangha, Tivra Bhakti. Then Krishna is saying, now why Bhakti? Bhaktya mama bijanati yavanischasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato gnatva vichate tat anantaram. Why he gets pure devotional service? By getting pure devotional service, what happens? One can understand me as I am only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Full consciousness. Yeah, because Ante Narayana Smriti, if we are in full consciousness of Krishna, even when we are giving up this body, we'll be in his consciousness and we'll enter the kingdom of God. So for achieving this, we have to come to Brahmabhuta. The Supreme Personality of Godhead and his plenary portions cannot be understood by mental speculation or by non-devotees. If anyone wants to understand, he has to take to pure devotional service under the guidance of a pure devotee. Otherwise, the truth will always be hidden. As stated, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya is not revealed to everyone. No one can understand God simply by erudite scholarship or mental. Only one who is actually engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service can understand. University degrees are not helpful. Why this is being said? Only one who is actually engaged, because Krishna will reciprocate the love and affection the devotee is showing by engaging in his service. Then one can understand, oh, Krishna is like this, oh, Krishna is like that. If we don't engage in service, then there's no reciprocation, so we cannot understand Krishna. If we want more of Krishna's reciprocation, we should do more sadhana, more seva. Then Krishna will reciprocate. The more we commit, the more Krishna will reciprocate. One who is fully conversant with the Krishna's signs becomes eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom. Becoming Brahman does not mean one loses identity. Devotional service is there, and as long as devotional service exists, there must be God, devotee, and the process of devotional service. Bhakti, Bhakta, and Bhagavan. Such knowledge is never vanquished even after liberation. Liberation involves getting free from the concept of material life. Bhaktir hitvanyata rupam swarupena vivasti. Liberation means what? Getting out of this material concept of life. In spiritual life, the same distinction is there. Meaning, I'm an individual, you are an individual, Krishna is an individual. Same individuality is there, but in pure Krishna consciousness. One should not mistakenly think that the word Vishate enters into me, supports the monist theory that one becomes homogeneous with the impersonal Brahman. No. Prabhupada is saying no. Vishate means that one can enter into the abode of Supreme Lord in one's individuality to engage in his association and render service to him. For instance, a green bird enters a green tree not to become one with the tree, but to enjoy the fruits of the tree. Impersonalists generally give the example of a river flowing into the ocean and merging. This may be a source of happiness for the impersonalist, but the personalist keeps his personal individuality like aquatic in the ocean. Find so many living entities within the ocean. If you go deep, surface acquaintance with the ocean is not sufficient. One must have complete knowledge of the aquatics living in the ocean depths. Because of his pure devotional service, a devotee can understand the transcendental qualities and opulences of the Lord. In truth, as it is stated, only by devotional service can one understand. The same is confirmed here. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotional service and enter into his kingdom. After attainment of Brahmabhuta, now our stage of freedom from material conceptions, devotional service begins by one's hearing about the Lord. Our situation is very unique. When we started hearing about the Lord, then we are slowly progressing towards Brahmabhuta. But traditional path was one would come to Brahmabhuta. Till then, he would not have heard, he would not be interested in hearing about the Lord. Then, if he's interested in going forward, he will start hearing about the Lord. Otherwise, if he wants Brahman, then he will stop there. When one hears about the Supreme Lord, automatically Brahma-bhuta stage develops and material contamination, that is greed and lust, disappears. Lust and desires disappear from the heart. He becomes more attached to the service of the Lord. So this is the key. Lust and greed have to disappear. How will lust and greed disappear? When he hear about the Lord. That is why the Shravanam process is so powerful. That by hearing, this lust and greed will vanish. And when one's lust and greed vanishes, then we become more attached. That means we have some little attachment, but become more attached. With such attachment, he becomes free from material contamination. So how do we get rid of material contamination? By becoming attached to Krishna. See, this is beauty, right? Because one balances the other. Bhakti balances out or removes material attachment. Attachment to Krishna eliminates material attachment. So for all this process, starting is Shravanam. So here, that is why this, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam have to be heard regularly. Bhagavata Sevaya. So by such Shravanam, he becomes free from material contamination. In that stage of life, he can understand the Supreme Lord. See, Prabhupada has summarized this in this much. How do we achieve Brahmabhuta? By hearing, we automatically come to Brahmabhuta because greed and lust will go. Then as greed and lust goes, one becomes more attached to Krishna. More one becomes attached, becomes free from material contamination. Simple. This is the crux of all the knowledge. In that state of life, you can understand the Supreme Lord. This is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam also. After liberation, the process of bhakti or transcendental service continues. Vedanta Sutra confirms aprayana tatrapi hi drashtam. Means that after liberation, process of devotional service continues. The Srimad Bhagavatam, their devotional liberation is defined as the reinstatement of the living entity, Swarupena Vyavastiti, in his own identity. Constitutional position is already explained. Every living entity is a part and parcel of Supreme Lord. Therefore, is constitutional. Serve. After liberation, this service is never stopped. Actual liberation is getting free from misconceptions of So beautifully, clearly explained what mukti is and when bhakti will start. When we come to this platform of Brahmabhuta, how do we come to the platform of Brahmabhuta? By mainly Shravanam. The whole idea. So we want to progress into Shravanam of Srimad Bhagavatam after this.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
You mentioned that when the attachment increases, right? Like lust and greed reduces, the person gets interested to hear more, and then
Thoda reverse hai. When we hear, then greed and lust reduces. As greed and lust disappear, attachment increases.
Attachment increases, and then we have tendency to serve, right? Like that is our constitution.
Yeah.
So this part I want to get more. This is something which is little difficult to understand. The importance of service, right? So, like we hear that devotional service, right, and it is required, and our constitutional position is to serve, right? So, can we discuss this topic in detail? Because service is something which is like one person offers to another person, right? And Lord, he is fully independent. He is fully he is actually fulfilled with all his needs and other things, right? So when we say that we have to do service as our eternal duty, then why there is an importance of service? What is the mellow there which a devotee gives? Because service is something which is, I mean, at least in my understanding, I never understood that what is the connection between Jiva and Lord in terms of service. Because Jiva is an independent part and parcel, and Lord is
not independent, is a separated part and parcel.
Separated part and parcel, yes. So what is the mellow in connection with service? I think this needs a deeper discussion.
Servant, no? I mean, because we are seva. Sevak. Sevak means seva.
Yeah. So when we say that Jiva is a part and parcel, right?
Uh,
Part and parcel doesn't mean that the Jiva is a servant, right? So that is something which we
no, but that we don't know, no? As in, why
yeah.
we, I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna is Jivera Swarupa, Krishna is Nityadas.
Mm,
Jiva Swarupa is that he is Nityadas.
mm.
See, there's only one enjoyer, that is Krishna.
Yeah, that part is understood. But
No,
then,
no, one second. Arsabha Bhritya.
yeah,
Arsabha Bhritya means what? Everybody else is a Bhritya, is a servant.
yes. So
He has to serve.
that's why I just wanted.
Including Balaram also serves.
That is fine. But then, like, why we have relationship with service? So that is something. Like, is there a reason or is it just a nature?
No, bro, what does servant mean? What does a servant do?
Yes, servant, that is understood. But why it is described that we are servants? Basically, what I
We are
wanted
going
to
in a
know.
circle. So,
No,
see,
we are
we are.
not. We are not.
Uh,
I'm asking a basic question to you.
mm,
Let me complete it. So what I'm saying is, we are part and parcel of Supreme, right? We are small. We are qualitatively one with God, right? And quantitatively we are smaller.
mhm.
So what I want to understand is there a purpose that our relationship with God is through service?
Yeah,
So what?
because Krishna enjoys when
Yeah,
he's
but
served by his
Krishna,
devotees.
no, but Krishna can enjoy without service also, right?
No, that is his position in this material world, not in the spiritual world. So, there are two concepts you have to understand. One is Atma Ramatva, then there is Parataratma. So there is something called Atmaram, right? We know the Atmaram concept. Atmaram is Krishna is self-satisfied,
Correct.
but that
Yes.
self-satisfied is in the material world. In the spiritual world, he is Parataratmata. I'm not getting the exact Sanskrit word. Parataratma means he is dependent on other jivas for his happiness
Hmm.
in the spiritual world. And what do those other jivas do? How do they give him happiness? By serving him.
Hmm.
Raso Vaisaha. So Krishna was one. Krishna wanted to enjoy, so he expanded.
Yeah.
Now, when he expanded, now if others become equal to Krishna, then there is no question of Krishna enjoying, no?
Hmm.
That is the whole wrong position that we took, and we came to this material world saying that I want to become equal to Krishna. Now, if it is wrong to be equal to Krishna, then we have to be under Krishna. Means we have to do what he pleases, what pleases him, which means that it is a mode of service. There is no other relationship. Actually, Balaram, Balaram himself is the first servant of Krishna. And that is why Guru is Balaram Tattva, right? Or representative Balaram. Why? Because he teaches us how to serve Krishna.
Yeah.
So, if starting from Balaram, Krishna expands himself. Even the first expansion from Krishna, who is literally not different from him, Balaram, is also serving Krishna. So, there
Yeah.
is no other way but to please Krishna, because Krishna wants to enjoy. And when we cannot think of ourselves as equal to Krishna, we think that we are inferior to Krishna or we are below Krishna, and our only mood is to serve him.
Yeah. But so this is understood now. So when we say that there is Shakt Rasa, right? That Rasa in Vaikuntha, where people see the Lord in awe and reverence. Even Shant Rasa,
No,
is
no, no.
there?
Shanta is not in Vaikuntha. So, as in, it can be anywhere, it can be in Goloka. The whole mood of Shanta is that he is a supreme controller, but don't bother me. So, Shanta is not actually, in Gaudiya Vaishnava, we don't consider Shanta as a rasa.
Okay.
Anta is like, instead of, I mean, as a jiva, I am not being totally a rascal by not even, considering or recognizing Krishna's supreme position. So I come to Shanta, that means I become at least a sane human being, where I just agree that yes, okay, there is a supreme controller. But Shanta is not the rasa, as in Shanta is a rasa, but because 12 rasas and we say, okay, these are 5 rasas. But actually in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami starts with Dasya only.
Okay. So can we?
Shanta is not considered as a major rasa,
Yeah.
because
So
there's
can
no
we?
rasa really.
So can we say that it is basically something like a sambandha, and service is prayojana, right? So basically, it culminates with service, because unless we serve, we will not be able to relish that relationship, which is the ultimate means, right?
Sambandha is sevak.
Sevak, yes.
Abhideya is the process of devotional service. Prayojana is loving Krishna. When we love Krishna, we will actually serve him.
Huh.
So service is the means. Without service, we cannot. I mean, everything in this material world is about service. Everybody is a servant of another person, right?
Yeah.
So being a servant is our inherent nature. We are servants, whether we want it, whether we like it or not, whether in material world or spiritual world, everybody is a servant of somebody else except Krishna. Of course, Krishna thinks himself as a servant of his devotees. That's a different mood, right? But for all of us, we are just servants of somebody else. Ultimately, we have to become servants of Krishna. That is a constitutional position.
Yeah, now it's more clear. Thank you, bro.
Okay.
I just wanted to understand this in more detail, because my doubt was that is there any existence possible where devotee still recognizes Krishna, but service is not there? Is it possible?
No, that is why Prabhupada called it devotional service, right? Because devotion means no bhav. I give this example of married couple. Wife is very excited about marriage. I mean, Matajis, don't take it wrong. It's just to drive home a point. First day, second day, she's so excited. She goes out, she wants to give gifts. She goes, gets a lot of this bouquet and some gifts, this, that, and all that. And then husband comes from work. Wife is very happy. She opens the door and then, flowers and this and that and all that. Okay, very happy. But then no food, no khana. She's forgotten to cook. Then again, next day, same thing happens. And third day, he tells her, Baba, you don't get me any gift, but please have some food ready by the time I come. So this is lip service, right? I'm love you, I love you, love you. Like, love means what? Show it to me in reality. I'm hungry, I'm dying when I come from office. I need food. That is your real demonstration of love. Not just lip service saying that, oh, I love you, I love you. Love means seva. If you love somebody even in this material world, what do? We reciprocate with them. How do we reciprocate? Okay, you want to eat this, let me make this, or let me buy this. So we try to understand what that other person wants and try to live accordingly. Simple.
So reciprocation is something which is obviously not possible.
Yeah, I mean, actually the way to understand all rasas, including Madhurya, is only based on dasya. Even in Madhurya, the mood is actually to serve and please Krishna. There is nobody in Madhurya, neither Radharani nor Gopis nor anybody wants to enjoy by themselves. They don't want to enjoy. Actually, they are not interested in enjoyment. They are interested in making Krishna happy. This we will understand when we come to Chaitanya Charitamrita, the mood of Gopis and all that. But the whole point is everything is dasya. Without dasya, there is no relationship at all. That is the relationship.
Yeah. And so this is only true for devotional service. So let's say the service which we do to our parents, right? Or let's say our family, that is also one kind of service, but that's not devotional service. So
that's not devotional service till we don't look at our family as devotees. If you look at our family as devotees, then it is devotional service.
Okay, so even that should be done in the mode that we are doing.
Absolutely. I mean, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj told somebody comes to him. I mean, he wanting to get initiated from Babaji, but then he doesn't. And then he says, one day he comes and says, I got married. They said, excellent. You got married to a Vaishnavi. From tomorrow, get up in the morning, first time offer obeisances to her. Because she is a Vaishnavi. She is doing service to you, she is cooking, etc. You also serve her. You should also serve her. Actually, this is the mood in which we have to live. In fact, Brahmabhuta stage will say that we have to treat every living entity with respect, whether that person is a devotee or not. Our vision should be saying that he or she is part and parcel of Krishna. Then there's no question of disrespecting. There's no question of not recognizing the real relationship, saying that, they're also part and parcel of Krishna. So if I have to serve Krishna, I have to serve his part and parcel also. Because I am Sevak. Whether somebody else is in that mood or not doesn't matter. If I want Krishna, I should be in the mood of service to everybody. And what is that service? Giving Krishna consciousness. helping other people in the house to come to the platform of bhakti by not pushing them, by helping, understanding, being with them, and that is mode of service.
Yeah. And even if, let's say, they are not able to comprehend that on day one,
Yeah, absolutely.
Setting up the suitable environments, basically
Yes,
encouraging them to come through mode of goodness is also devotional service, I believe.
absolutely. I mean, see, the ability for a jiva to accept bhakti is a very exalted state. Actually, we don't understand this because somehow, by whatever, right, few of us have come to the platform of bhakti and we then look at other people like demons. No, actually, I mean, it's just our good fortune that we have come to bhakti, and we should create that good fortune for others as well, and not look at them like enemies. It is unfortunate that they have not been able to come to that platform, but and that is just their journey. They are in their journey, this eternal journey. That is where they are, and whether even if they want it also, they are so tightly bound by material laws that they cannot just simply accept bhakti. And so Prabhupada said, no, like, I created your fortune. So like the devotees have created our fortune, we should create others' fortune. But we don't look at them and say, why can't you accept bhakti? What is your problem? Because they can't accept, because they're far from that stage. They're in a very different stage in their journey where they cannot understand this at this point of time. So we have to be patient, we have to be with them, care for them, help them, do all that. See, that is why actually there is somebody yesterday was asking me, two lives, material life, spiritual life. I said, no, there's only one life. We just don't know how to see it. And we keep looking at two lives and, we say, okay, all of this is material, so I'm materially stuck. This is spiritual, so, I'm happy by doing these activities. No. Well, yeah, we naturally want to do direct activities of bhakti, but if you start looking at other people in the house as devotees, but say neophyte devotees, maybe, right? Who are neophyte devotees, they go to the temple and they have faith in Krishna. That's it. Neophyte, right? But we look at them and Narada Muni says, how do we treat neophyte devotees? With compassion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these things have to be understood. That is why I see these are all very deep concepts. When you come to Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can understand these better.
Yeah, but now it's much clearer.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to continue for some more time, as I said, because I want to finish this. Okay, 18.56. Sarva karmanyapi sada kurvano madvyapashrayah matprasadadavapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. To engage in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal impersonal abode. See, this is amazing statement. See, to engage in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection. So one who is a pure devotee has complete direct protection of the Supreme Lord. And so we don't have to really worry. If we have pure devotion in our mind, we are striving towards it. Krishna gives us full protection. And he's saying, Madhya Pasaya, under my protection, you will come to me. By my grace, I am giving you the mercy. I mean, such a beautiful, just see the, how much joy we should experience by hearing statements like this, saying that, totally unqualified people. Right, at least I can talk about myself, but we are getting the mercy of the Lord's protection in what? Not from material problems, protection to take us back to His abode. It is His grace, and He's simply giving it because we are fortunately connected to Prabhupada. I mean, that is all our qualification is. The word Madhyapashraya means under the protection of the Supreme Lord. To be free from material contamination, a pure devotee acts under the direction of the Supreme Lord or his representative, the spiritual master. There is no time limitation for a pure devotee. He is always 24 hours a day, 100% engaged in activities under the direction of the Supreme Lord. So devotee who is thus engaged, Lord is very, very kind. In spite of all difficulties, see, look at this. Just because he's very, very kind doesn't mean that there are no difficulties. In spite of all difficulties, he is eventually placed in the transcendental abode. Prabhupada is so crystal clear. Don't gauge Krishna's mercy based on whether your material life is happy or not. It has Nothing, no bearing. Eventually, if we have a pure intent, whether through life of difficulties or happiness, Krishna is going to take us back to his abode. He is guaranteed entrance there. There is no doubt about it. In that Spirit Supreme Abode, there is no change. Everything is eternal, imperishable. So all that we need to do is we have to just become a pure devotee. Now, becoming a pure devotee means first standard is also pure devotee, 10th standard is also pure devotee, right? Wanting to be a pure devotee, giving up all kinds of, anya abhilasha, all other desires, making it zero, serving just for the pleasure of Krishna, we are already started on the path. And then what we should do? We should come to this platform of 24 hours engaged in activities pleasing Krishna. Now, this is where this whole consciousness of how do we deal with material life, with our family, etc. comes in. So we have to treat everything as a responsibility. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is written a sequence of poems, Sharanagati. We should do that sometime. He says that I am just a servant of this house. Krishna, this is your house. I am your servant. You have given me the service of taking care of this house. There are other inmates who are your devotees, and I will take care of them to the best of my ability as your servant. With the mood that I am your servant and I am the servant of other people in the house, I will take up this service. So, which means that there's no material consciousness. In that mode, we are 100% engaged in service of Krishna. So, this is what is required, and Krishna is assuring that I will take you back home. So amazing. Simple two-liner. The beauty of Bhagavad Gita. Chetasa sarva karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya machitta satatam bhava. In all activities, just depend upon me. Work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. This is so beautiful. Be fully conscious of me. Meaning, whether we are afraid, whether we are angry, whether we are upset, whatever it is, bring Krishna into the picture. Then automatically all these negative things will go away because we are depending on him. And we are not upset, we are not angry, we are not frustrated. None of the negative emotions will remain because Krishna is there. So he's saying, just depend on me. Work always under my protection. That's it. When one acts in Krishna consciousness, he does not act as the master of the world. This is what I was saying. Just like a servant, one should act fully under the direction. A servant has no individual independence. See, these statements have to be we have to really contemplate on this. We today are feeling happy that we have independence. Oh, I am the head of the family. I can take my decisions. I can say no to my daughter. Right? But that is independence. But here you're saying servant has no individual independence. So what should be our mood? Our mood should be, okay, I'm the servant of this house. My role is that of a father, and my daughter is doing something which is not acceptable. So I will tell her not to do because Krishna doesn't like it. This is our servant position. So when we say like that, okay, see, Krishna doesn't like us to do this, then we are servants. Then we are not taking responsibility of the actions and we are not bound by those actions. Because we act only on the true order of the master. The servant acting on behalf of the master is unaffected by profit and loss. He simply discharges his duty faithfully. Faithfully, not like escaping. No. Now one may argue that Arjuna was acting under the personal direction of Krishna, but when Krishna is not present, how should one act? If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, as well as under the guidance of representative, which is Guru, same result. Sanskrit word mat paraha is very important. It indicates that one has no goal in life save and except acting in Krishna consciousness just to satisfy Krishna. While working in that way, one should think of Krishna only. I have been appointed to discharge this particular. See, I have been appointed because it's his house, his material world. He's given me a role. I will play it faithfully. While acting in such way, one naturally has to think about Krishna. Why? Because we're working for him. This is perfect Krishna consciousness. You should ever know that after doing something whimsically, we should not offer the result to the Supreme Lord. This is very famous. After we do something and say Krishna Arpanamastu. No. We have to do for his satisfaction. So we have to first know whether he likes it or not, whether it is approved by him or not. And then we do faithfully. Not like we do whimsically and then offer it to Krishna. That sort of duty is not in the devotional service. One should act according to the order of Krishna. So we should know it. This is a very important point. That order of Krishna comes through Guru. Therefore, spiritual master order should be taken as the prime duty of life. Yasya prasadat Bhagavad prasada. One gets a bona fide spiritual master and acts according to this direction. Once perfection is guaranteed. So this is another easy way. Simply surrender to Guru, follow his instructions properly. Perfection. It's such an easy process. Actually, Prabhupada has just simply crystallized all this in a simple process for us to follow in ISKCON. So if we follow it, but unfortunately, people get initiated and then they have no relationship whatsoever with their Guru. They don't hear from their Guru. They don't know what their Guru wants. They live their life independently, in no connection really with the Guru except, chanting his pranam mantra the day, hopefully. This is no use. This is just namesake. That's not going to help us. We have to really commit. Okay, this is the last verse we'll do and close. Achitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi ata chetvam ahankaran nashosyasi vinangshasi. Amazing verse this is. You become conscious of me. Like previously he said, you work for me. You'll go through all difficulties. Be conscious of me. If you become conscious, you will pass over all obstacles by my grace. If however you do not work in such consciousness and act through false ego, me, mine, I, not hearing me, you will be lost. You will be lost. Person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing duties of existence. Today Prabhupada was saying, we have 10,000s of disciples and we are not worried about how they are maintained. Because Krishna takes care of it. Foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort. He gives himself to his friend, who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. So beautiful statement. This is love of Krishna. Therefore, no one should be carried away by false ego. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. He's already under strict material laws. But as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from material perplexities. Liberated, because liberation means just giving up material concept. Material concept means I am the master. When we become Krishna's servant, we are liberated from this material concept. To note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool. Conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done, what is not to be done. The person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. See, but this is very important. We cannot speculate. I feel like this, so I will do it. No, not like that. That is why Prabhupada is very clear. Prompted by Krishna. How do you know it is prompted by Krishna or prompted by your mind? It has to be confirmed by spiritual master. If it is not confirmed by spiritual master, then it is prompted by your mind. And then it's just speculation. But if it is prompted by Krishna, then it will be confirmed by spiritual master. So we have to just live like this, and we'll pass over all obstacles and Krishna will take us back to his abode. Amazing. So please read these verses again. Yeah, okay, I think this is also just related. Yad ahankaran ashritya na yotsya iti manyase mithyaisha vyavasayaste prakrisistvam niyokchati. Last verse he said, don't engage in false ego. He say, if you do not act according to this direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. because of false ego. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in what? Do this. We'll do this again. So we completed till 58. Okay, I'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Any
In the
questions?
last verse, Prabhupada writes that one should not be unduly concerned with the existence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some small anxiety is like allowed.
No, unduly means like it's not at all required. We should have a sense of responsibility and we should do. Actually, Prabhupada says that materially we should not even plan. So there is no question of, if there's no planning, there's no question of anxiety. Na? So there is no anxiety required. Anxiety means just lack of faith in Krishna. We have a responsibility, we just do it. Okay, I have to get up in the morning, brush my teeth. What is the point in being anxious about it? I just get up in the morning, brush my teeth. That's it. So all our other activities have to be treated just like this. Okay. Anybody else has any questions? See, please read these verses again. I mean, these are like life changing. So powerful, short purports, extremely powerful. I've tried to explain whatever extent, but I mean, it has to be read again and again so that it settles in our head. Amazingly powerful verses. Amazingly powerful. It actually tells us how we should live. Completely summary, like in a nutshell, how we should live in this material. So please read again. If you have any questions, we can again discuss next session. Okay, so we'll conclude. All right. Okay, connect.